Hello everybody, this is Godzilla 2010 again, coming at you with another toy review. Today's toy review is going to be on the brand new NECA 1954 Godzilla. Ooh, yeah. Alright, let's get started, as usual, with the detail. The detail on this figure is phenomenal, like, it's just great. The etching and everything in here is beautiful. The sculpt is amazing. Probably the best actually that I've seen personally for a 1954 Godzilla. This is absolutely gorgeous. Everything is pretty much spot on. Just amazing overall detail, and with movie accuracy and everything, it's just great. This paint job is fairly typical for Godzilla. We have lots of black and gray, and we have white in the big eyes, and in the mouth there is gray instead of red. So this could be like a black and white backdrop, so that's an interesting touch actually. Other than that, it's very standard for Godzilla, but it's also done quite well, as usual. Next we'll talk about articulation. The NECA does a great job once again with articulation on Godzilla's. His mouth is hinged, so he can open, close fairly easily. His head right here is on a ball joint, so he can look around a lot. The neck is on a different kind of joint, but it still works quite the same. You can turn it, you can move it in and out. His arms are on a socket here, so they can move in and out and twist and turn. The elbows are on a similar kind of joint. This one's really stiff here. That one works a little bit better, so you can do that, move it in and out, and swivel it. The wrists swivel, and his hands can close and open, like so. The feet, actually, let's go to the waist. The waist is like on a big swivel pivot joint, so you can do all kinds of things. Godzilla can belly dance, he can crunch forward a lot, he can crunch back a little bit, and that works. He can move his legs, swivel them like this, move them in and out a little bit. The knees can bend, they are on a hinge joint. The feet are on some kind of socket joints here, so they can swivel and pivot and move around as you need them to. The tail is articulated up until here, where it is a bendy wire, which I'm not a fan of, but it is what it is. I'm not really going to move it around too much anyway, so that's that. So yes, articulation, once again, NECA does a fantastic job with the articulation of Godzilla figures. It's really, really nice to see super articulated Godzilla figures that aren't the ultra expensive SH Monster Arts figures. These are really rather reasonably priced for how good they look. Next we'll talk about, we'll do some comparisons and some scalings and stuff like that. Okay, so first of all, let's take a look at him compared to my other NECA Godzillas. Okay, first we're going to look at the what am I talking about? This is the 2014 NECA Godzilla. The first one they released. Next we'll look at the 94 Godzilla. Oops. There we go. Well, let's do them one by one. I haven't planned this out. Alright, so here he is next to the 2014 Godzilla. Very stark difference, as we can see here. The 54 Godzilla is a lot larger overall and bulkier, it seems, in most regards, which makes sense in some ways, in other ways not so much, but the 2014 one is seemingly smaller and scrawnier, but maybe they learned from some past mistakes, because this figure is not totally immaculate. It's great, but it's not awesome. It is awesome, but you probably get the point. It's great, but it's not that great. This Godzilla, however, is really starting to flesh out a lot of the flaws we saw in some of the earlier releases. So next we'll take a look at the 94 Godzilla. Again, the 94 Godzilla looks a lot shinier in comparison. That's because they had this glossy kind of paint around here, but they took that away for this one, which makes the 54 one look much better, if you ask me. He looks very good, while this one looks awesome as well. It just looks odd with that shiny, glossy feel to it. Other than that, this is a great figure otherwise, but I've already reviewed him. And lastly, we'll take a quick look with him compared to the NECA NES Godzilla. I do not have the 1984 Godzilla. The local place that I usually get these from did not stock that, so I wasn't really interested in hunting it down, but I have this one, which is awesome. But anyway, obviously these are two different, very, very, very different designs for Godzilla, but as we can see here, let's see, in height-wise, if I'm trying to pose this Godzilla 54 to full height, and pose you to full height, then this one is just a hair taller. And if we look at the 94 Godzilla, this one is also just a hair taller. The 2014 one is shorter, because this one is just a generally small figure. This one here is a very interesting figure, and it's very interesting to compare these two. These two were the last released ones, so that looks pretty neat. Okay, next we'll compare it to my other 1954 Godzilla figures. Okay, so here's the NECA Godzilla compared to my other 1954 figures. We have the original 2002 Bandai Creation Godzilla right there. We have the Movie Monster Series Bandai Creation, the Bandai Japan 1954 Godzilla, and here's the NECA Godzilla 1954. Here is the Bandai Creation First Godzilla, or as it was previously known, and they just call it the 1954 Godzilla now. They seem to have, this was the only one they never re-released, so I guess they kind of just forgot about it and said, hey, this is our new one. So, as we can see here, just by looking at these all together, that the NECA one is clearly the best in quality, but all of them are interesting, very interesting figures, and very neat to look at together side by side to see some evolutions in the action, how the action figures played out, and the differences between the Japan one and the American ones. Overall, the best vinyl figure is this one, but overall it's easily this one, because this one incorporates the movie accuracy, the detail, and the articulation like these never could. So overall, this one is very awesome. While the others are great, this one is the best. And just for a quick giggle, we'll compare them to a couple other things. First, we have my one of my usual players here, the Bandai Creation 2004 Final Wars Anguirus. And as I've said many, many, many times before, this Anguirus is too large for even this Godzilla, because this Godzilla is fairly large, but this figure is very large, so it will not scale properly for Godzilla raids again. And lastly, just for a lot of fun, we're going to scale him next to my Revoltech Gurren Lagann figure. This Gurren Lagann figure is pretty small, but overall I actually think it's a decent scaling, considering Gurren Lagann is actually very small anyway. In terms of rarity, this Godzilla is very common right now. I bought him at my local FYE, which is like for your entertainment. It's an outlet store. That's where I've gotten a lot of NECA figures. They stock those. I'm sure you can find this guy at Hastings Entertainment. He's on Amazon. I'm sure he's on eBay, everywhere. He's fairly easily accessible for around $20 to $25, maybe $30 at most. But for that price and for the quality that you're getting, it's beautiful. And last quick thing real quick, we'll look at the card, or whatever you want to call this, that came with the figure. This basic style of the card comes with I'm assuming most of the NECA Godzillas recently. I only have two of these because these are the two normal ones, because I'm sure the 84 Godzilla came with one like this, but I don't have them. But the 94 Godzilla came with one like this, but it's fairly simple. It's got the picture, or nicely posed of the 54 NECA Godzilla on there. It's got Godzilla, trademarks, logos, etc. But one thing that is very odd that I forgot to mention in my 94 Godzilla review is that this shot is the first Godzilla figure from Bandai Creation, or Bandai America, whatever. I don't know if these two are, I don't think that these are the same companies or whatever, but this is very obviously the Bandai Creation Godzilla, first Godzilla, whatever. I don't know if there's like a rights thing with that, or if there's like, I'm sure they have the right to use it. I mean, it's like, but I'm not sure if it's like a part of the same company, or if it's something associated with, I don't know if it's like all Bandai America or whatever, but it's definitely NECA makes the figure, and Bandai definitely makes this figure. I don't know if NECA is a side company of Bandai. I'm pretty sure it's not, but I'm probably just going crazy. But either way, this is really strange. Okay, so overall, this is definitely the best figure that NECA has put out so far of their Godzilla line. I don't have their 84 Godzilla or their Burning Godzilla, so I can't really judge for those, but from what I've seen and from what most people have been saying about this in their feedback is that this is the best one, and it's pretty much hard to just say otherwise, because everything's gorgeous with it. The details are fabulous, the articulation is amazing, the movie accuracy is spot on. I forgot to mention the spines. The spines look really cool. They are pretty much movie accurate too. The proportion is correct, the scaling is great. Pretty much everything about it except for the bendy wire tail, I'd say, is perfect. And this is one of my new favorite figures. NECA is stealing my heart in Godzilla. I still have yet to get an SH Monster Arts figure. Maybe sometime in the future. Probably not, though. But either way, this is a great figure. I give it a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, I don't care. IGN, 7 out of 10, not dank enough, whatever. But definitely go out and get this figure if you haven't gotten it already. This is a great buy for its price and for how available it is. I would not pass this one up. Alright, this is Godzilla 2010 signing off. See ya.